Fortnite Season 4's storyline has really started really well, with the island obviously opening up and the jungle revealing. We have so much information about Dr. Slone, the return of the last reality, the cubes, and so much more. But just to summarise last season's story, just in case anyone missed it, basically last season all the syndicates joined together as a team to identify the saboteur, who was the Nox himself, who's working with the last reality, communicating with them inside of the syndicates, trying to make them all fight each other. But they had a meeting, they all worked together, end of. That was the story last season. Fairly simple, to be honest. But we're not here to roast the awful storyline from last season. We are here to talk about the brand new storyline this season, because this time it definitely levels up. We've got information going all around, and the first piece of information I want to start off with is obviously Optimus Prime. Now, Optimus Prime has sent us a signal to warn us on the future of the island. Take a little listen and then we'll evaluate it.
Greetings. My name is Optimus Prime. If you are hearing this message, the time has come to make your escape. This reality is doomed to collapse, but hope is not yet lost. I cannot sustain this broadcast for much longer. Listen, and more will follow.
Well, you can tell that the reality is going to collapse once again, possibly, and you probably know exactly what's causing that. Well, it's actually the last reality. Now, I'll give you guys a context on it. Obviously, there's references to the last reality in some of the plants in the actual forest and jungle, which we just saw in the trailer, and Dr. Slone returning as well. And we know how she's dealt with the last reality in the past. You know, I'll show you guys a little clip of that now if you don't remember, but she didn't deal with it very well.
You played your part. Now I have to play mine. We are fighting a war in which we are hopelessly outgunned. I won't bring you home. Not if there is a chance that thing can make it back to the island. Over and out.
And obviously the plan failed badly. It made it back to the island, that thing. So I don't trust Slone this season. So I'm very wary of her. A lot of people are saying she's on the good side. But anyway, let's jump back into the storyline and see where we are at with the Slone stuff. What exactly is going on? And how did Slone even get here in the first place? Well, we actually find that out here.
Day number... still in the jungle. I think you know that it takes a little more than dropping a tank on me to take me out.
We know that Dr. Slone survived the tank falling on her head in the collision event, but Relic himself actually helped rescue Slone throughout the jungle when the realities did combine together. So he's been like living with Slone and just supporting him, and we actually find this out in a little voice note here. I'll read through a few of these because they're really important, but a few of the voice messages to Slone. See that reading these are really important. We have a few from different characters. We'll start off with Relic himself, the second one down. Slone says to Relic, just because you got me back on my feet doesn't mean I owe you, which is pretty interesting. Also Gunner as well, I told you I'm done, kind of like she's leaving the IO, and I know what you are even if you don't. Obviously Stellan says that as well, the Rift Warden, and a few others as well, focusing about the glyphs at the top, and the middle one as well. If you're focused on something other than adventure, you'd have potential. So some really interesting stuff here, and it even says in Slone's description, after surviving a crushing conflict, Slone found herself in a long abandoned jungle where she has been recovering ever since. She has a plan, but can she be trusted? Well, we clearly know no from the last outcome of that plan, but we'll see again, I guess. Anyway, let's take a listen to the rest of Salone's voice notes after she survived the tank fall, just so we can get an idea of what Salone's looking at, and then we'll look into some other storyline stuff which is going on with Aura, Aurelia, and some other skins, which is going to be pretty cool.
I'll have to thank my rescuer. Hope he doesn't expect a fruit basket. I have a plan, but I'll need to move fast. The key to all of this is the people who left this jungle behind. I've found what looks like an ancient, busted machine. It's a telescope, or some kind of stellar projector. I'll need to run scans. If this thing can do what I believe it can, it will be key to my plans for the island.
From what I can tell, the apparatus uses kinetic ore prisms to manipulate light. If my instincts are right, I need to get it working. Now. I've scoured the villages of the people who lived here. Their inventions, their writings. They used refined kinetic ore to create amazing technologies. They were scientists, visionaries. But now, all we have of them is relics.
So Slone identifies this stellar projector and she calls it maybe a telescope. It could be related to this image here and probably is something to do with traveling between different realities using kinetic or prisms, which use light to kind of manipulate them and just travel between different elements. There's a really cool tweet here from Cyan on Twitter where he basically talks about it possibly being like a Bifrost in Fortnite, maybe traveling between 5 different realms and some sort of king type thing. Actually dating it back to the Ice King stuff, which I think might be a little bit far. I don't think it goes that far back, this sort of stuff, but generally I do think it is maybe something to do with the Rift Warden, Stellan himself, and maybe something to do with way more than the Ageless, which is pretty cool. So hopefully Stellan comes back. You know, kind of chapter 4 season 1 was a bit of a weird ending. Stellan just disappeared and the season just kind of went into the mega season without any explanation, with lots of questions still asked about that Rift Gate and what it was actually doing and stuff. So really, Stellan was just basically messing around, but we'll see. Maybe he does come back and loops back the story. But yeah, last season was really dull and doesn't really link into all this, so it's definitely weird to have that season just kind of just plonked in the middle, but I guess that's just the way it is. So yeah, let's keep moving on what we have on that side. She also mentions stuff about the relics. Now the relics do come up again in Aura's quest, which we can jump into a sec, which actually give us details about the last reality and how they've been like engraving their relics on different temples around the map. We can't 100% confirm that this is the last reality with these relics, but it's some scientists that may eventually go on to work for the last reality or be kind of like the original creation of like Fortnite's last reality race, I guess, kind of like the original scientists before the last reality was formed. And obviously they were taken in and the last reality was kind of formed. That's what maybe these could be. And obviously we do have Optimus Prime who kind of teleported to the island as well. This may be something to do with maybe some of the last realities technology. It could also be this telescope thing that's being identified by Slone, or it could just be something to do with the 0 point. Who knows exactly? We don't really have enough detail yet, but it was pretty cool to see that. Moving on to Aura's quest, we find out there's a item on the island made by the Cubes which is capable of leveling the entire island to nothing again. And it's actually the Chalice of Cube. So this is pretty cool and it can be found in the rainforest. Then Aura herself actually makes us go and find this chalice. And we obviously search around, we get some details about it, and we do start to find information. And we realize that there's lots of glyphs around. We talk to Aura and she says there's different glyphs around and we need to go and investigate these and get some information of where possibly this chalice could be located, which is what we go and do. We then talk to her, which is pretty awesome that she's in the storyline quest now. Then we examine these glyphs and they give us kind of like an overview of like cube language and stuff, which is really awesome, written by the original scientists on the map. Then we find the chalice, we can pick it up and we take it back to Aura. Pretty cool. For some reason it changed me to Aura and not Aurelia. I was kind of annoyed about that. Anyway, I went back to obviously Aura here, spoke to her, she says hi Aurelia, but I'm not using Aurelia. Anyway, she talks about it and says I'll get in contact to seal away the chalice itself without a wielder. It's powerless, so which is pretty interesting to seal it away. And obviously thank you, Lupa. So she talks about that and then we just send it off. So she basically makes us go and hunt down this chalice, and she is part of the most wanted in the Syndicate clan. If you don't know who they are like the ones that steal all of the vaults. You know, remember the like Valentine's event we had where we were the most wanted? The most wanted are the ones that steal all the stuff. So yeah, risky stuff. The chalice is there and obviously we gave it to Aura to put away somewhere, hopefully safety, but not 100% sure if it will be. She could not be trusted and things could go bad. But that was her quest line. But yeah, obviously that powerful chalice has some power, maybe coming into Slone's hands at some point or someone else's hands that may intervene with Slone. So that's the first storyline quest. We had the Slone secret stuff, we had the Aura stuff, and that's everything we have this season so far. There's lots of different theories I can come up with from this, but I'm not going to do that in today's video. That's up for you guys in the comments, and we'll make a separate video talking about theories of where the season's going to go. Anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and once again, this is Postbox Pat, signing out.